Good morning, children. The last class we learned about the different part of alimentary canal and associated glands. Then today we can discuss about the process of digestion. We learn about what is digestion. We can move through the process of digestion. When we ingested the food that is swallowed and enter the alimentary canal, the food inside the alimentary canal that is broken down into simpler molecules that can be absorbed by our body, and this process is known as digestion. Then what is digestion? The breaking down of complex food materials into simpler one, that is called digestion. Then what will happen if the digestion in the mouth? What will happen? Digestion, what is happening in the mouth? We know that saliva is secreted in the mouth. Then what is the function of that saliva? The saliva in mouth help to break down the starch present in the food into sugars, or that is called maltose, and also it make food easier to swallow by making it wet and slippery. The salivary gland secrete one enzyme, salivary amylase. Then this salivary amylase convert starch into simple sugars or maltose. Then the food in the mouth become a semi-solid ball that is called a bolus, which is swallowed. Then digestion in the stomach. What happened in the stomach? After the food is swallowed, it slides down through the pharynx, esophagus, and finally reaches the stomach. As earlier mentioned, the discussing the structure of stomach, it secrete two enzymes. The stomach secrete two enzymes, that is pepsin and renin, and that help in the digestion of protein. We know that the pepsin break down the complex protein molecule into simpler forms or peptones. Then protein is converted into peptones by the enzyme pepsin. Then what is the function of renin? We know that renin is milk protein. Convert the milk protein into insoluble car, that is paracasein, in the form of casein that is converted into paracasein, that is renin. Okay, then thus the food remain in the stomach for 3 to 4 hours. Hence it get partially digested with the help of digestive juice. After this, it move out to the stomach to the small intestine in the form of a thick paste that is called chyme. That is, then what is chyme? After the digestion, it move out of the stomach to small intestine in the form of a thick paste that is called chyme. Then digestion in small intestine. As the food enters the small intestine, the secretions from the liver and pancreas is received by the duodenum will act upon the chyme for further digestion. Then bile secreted by the liver. We know that liver is the largest gland in our body. Is stored in gallbladder. Then bile break the fat into simpler compounds, then which is easier to absorb by the body. Fat are present in the intestine in the form of large globules, which make it difficult for enzyme to act on them. Then bile salt break them into smaller globules, increasing the efficiency of enzyme trypsin and lipase that is secreted by the pancreas. The process of breaking down of large fat globules into small globule is called emulsification of fat. What is emulsification of fat? That is breakdown of fat into simpler form, that is called emulsification of fat. Then trypsin act on peptones and convert them into polypeptide. Then peptones are converted into polypeptide by trypsin. Then lipase act on fat to change them into fatty acid and glycerol. Lipase help the fat to convert into fatty acid and glycerols. Here you can see the diagrams, liver and the stomach. Then here associated glands also you can see. Here liver, gallbladder and pancreas you can observe. The food from the duodenum enters the jejunum and move into the ileum, the final part of small intestine. The following enzyme act upon the food and break them completely into simpler substance: eripsin, maltase, sucrase and lactase. Then first one, eripsin convert the peptones and peptide into amino acid. Then maltase change maltose into glucose. Then sucrase convert sucrose into glucose and fructose. Galactase convert lactose into glucose and galactose. Then absorption in small intestine. The small intestine not only digests the food, but it also aids in absorption of essential nutrients from the food. Absorption takes place in the small intestine. There are large number of small finger-like projections are present, that is called villi, on the inner lining of the small intestine. This villi increase the surface area for absorption of food. The completely digested food passes through them, the thin wall of blood capillaries that surround the villi and enters the bloodstream. This process is known as absorption. The ileum part of small intestine help in the digestion as well as absorption of food material. Here you can see the structure of villi. Then moving to the assimilation of food. This is the final stage in the process of digestion. Assimilation is a process by which the digested food which reaches the cell through the blood is either converted into product necessary for them or else utilized for releasing energy into carry out different activities. Here, the fatty acid and glycerol are stored below skin as energy reserves. In the form of glucose, food in the form of glucose, which is the final product of carbohydrate digestion, is broken down with the help of oxygen into carbon dioxide and water and to also release energy. Then excessive glucose that is converted by liver into glycogen and the excessive glucose converted into fat. Then amino acids circulate in the blood and are used by the cells in the synthesis of protein. They are also used for growth and repair of worn out cells. Digestion in the large intestine. Not all the food that one eats is digested and absorbed in the body. The undigested food from small intestine passes on to the large intestine. Here the most of the water and necessary salt present in the waste and undigested food are absorbed. The remaining Semi-solid substance from the fecus that move to the last part of the large intestine. We know that is called rectum. In rectum, excessive water is reabsorbed. Excess water is reabsorbed. The fecus are removed from the body through the anus. Then perhaps once or twice a day in a process called egestion or defecation. Here you can see the structure of large intestine. Then the next one, here we can see some name of the secretions or enzymes. Then which one is secreted and site of release. Here carbohydrate digestion. Then carbohydrate digestion. Salivary amylase is needed. Then pancreatic amylase and maltase. Salivary amylase is secreted by salivary gland and the site of release, that is mouth. Pancreatic amylase is secreted by the pancreas and the site, that is duodenum. Maltase is secreted by small intestine. The site is small intestine. About the protein digestion, pepsin and trypsin is needed. Pepsin is secreted by the gastric gland present in the stomach and trypsin is secreted by pancreas, that is in the duodenum. Then about the fat digestion, lipase and bile is needed. Lipase is secreted by the pancreas and its site is duodenum, and bile, that is secreted by liver and the site of release, that is duodenum. I think you all understood the table, and here today we learn about the different process of digestion, what happened in the mouth, stomach, small intestine and large intestine, and the different process of nutrition such as ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and egestion. Okay, thank you all.